Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I am Jim Coppinger with ZenTek Consultants, and today we're going to be talking about drawing revision comparison in BricsCAD using some of its native artificial intelligence tools. So we appreciate you guys taking the time to join us. Before we get started, just some quick housekeeping items. Because it's a public forum, we do keep all the attendees' microphones and telephones muted, so we're not listening to each other's background sounds. But if you guys do have questions or comments or whatever, you can type them either in the question box or the chat box of your GoToMeeting control panel. I'm not going to pause as we go through this to take those in real time, but I have set aside some time at the end of the presentation so that I can answer any questions that might come in. So feel free to type them in and I will get to them at the end of today's presentation. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on. All right, so for those of you who haven't worked with us before, we're ZenTek Consultants and we do work primarily in the AEC and manufacturing space. We're to help you guys purchase, implement, customize, and deploy all the software and all the technology that you need. We do quite a lot of work in helping you simplify and modernize all of the different, whether it's from CAD through estimating, construction management, 3D development, and distribution to your clients. So we hope you guys will hit our website, see all the good things we can do for you. All right, so what we're talking about here today is drawing revision comparison through BricsCAD, right? And one of the questions we often get is, what is BricsCAD? Well, BricsCAD is a CAD system that uses the same native DWG files that AutoCAD uses, and I know a lot of folks online may actually still be using AutoCAD. But the key with BricsCAD here is that you can convert over to it and use it, and it gives you the added benefit of being a system that lets you do both 2D drafting, 3D drafting, full-blown building information modeling, and even mechanical drafting in terms of what you would do in like Inventor and so on, all in one single file instead of having to keep 3 or 4 or 5 different systems, right? BricsCAD gives you the ability to do just about anything you want in the design world, regardless of your industry, in one single package, right? And really, it's about simplifying what you're doing, right? And it's also about cost. Listen, at the end of the day, we're all focused on what things cost. So, the benefits that go along with working in this BricsCAD structure, number one, it offers both perpetual licensing and annual licensing. And that perpetual licensing is important. It means you buy the software one time and you get to keep it and use it forever. That easy, right? They do offer annual subscriptions and those other options you get is that software as a service, but most folks do really tend to like that perpetual licensing structure. And their costs are usually about 50 to 60% of what you're going to be paying for a comparative product, okay? And the real benefit here is that anything that you've built in your current system, if you're working in AutoCAD or one of its variants, all of your standards, your tools, your list files, everything, they all work natively in BricsCAD. You don't have to convert or update or change anything. You can just work in BricsCAD just by opening it and going to work. And everything you've spent years putting together and learning will already be there. And like I said, it's all in one single DWG file. So that's the benefit of working with BricsCAD. But I think probably, to my mind, the most important aspect of dealing with this is that BricsCAD is regularly updated. Right? Unlike a lot of the older systems where the 2D CAD side has kind of been forgotten and everybody's focused on the BIM modeling and they kind of leave 90% of us sitting out there in the cold dealing with tools from 10, 15 years ago, whereas BricsCAD has put in a lot of effort in putting really, really user-friendly tools and integrating artificial intelligence and more advanced features into their day-to-day operational 2D product line. That's really what I want to talk about here today, and what we're going to be showing you is just one of the simple artificial intelligence tools in this concept of being able to compare different versions of the same drawing file, right, and get beyond what you might consider just a basic file overlay, right? They've kind of gone beyond that. So let's go ahead and jump into today's demo, and I'm going to show you. So I'm going to open up BricsCAD, and as you can see, just looking at BricsCAD, right, it looks very much like standard AutoCAD, right? Same tool, same structure, same setup. And as a matter of fact, this drawing file that I'm working with was actually originally created in that system, right? It's not a native BricsCAD drawing. I just opened up an AutoCAD drawing, and I go to work just like I would in AutoCAD, not a problem. So the thing here is that we've got a floor plan, right? And with this floor plan, you get an email or a notification, somebody's revised it, whether it's the architect or the engineer, or whoever it may be. There have been changes that have been made to the plan, right? So you want to go in, and this is the plan that you currently have that I have open here on the screen, right? And you want to be able to go in and tell what changes were made. Now, sometimes you get rev bubbles and you can look at things, but then you got to print it to PDFs or you got to print it to a page, and you kind of got to work back and forth across multiple platforms. With BricsCAD, it's much easier. We can actually go in here and we just go to our tools and we go to our drawing compare. Right? And it's as simple as this. See, when I go and I launch open the drawing compare file, okay? You see down here on my command line, right? Number one, I can control how many entities I want to bring in. So if I've got an extremely large file, I can limit it, right? But really all I'm going to do here is just hit enter to go to a browse dialog. And you see here's the revision 2 file. This is the updated revised file, and I need to know what's changed in revision 2 from the floor plan sample that I have open here. All right, so I'm going to open up the revision 2. And you see what it does is it automatically puts me into drawing comparison mode. It actually brings up this little dialog for me, all right, over here on the side. And you can actually kind of see that it kind of half tones everything back except for the areas that have been modified. So if you see as I zoom in here, we've got different colors. We got color coding going on here. I got some red things, I got some green things, I got some yellow things, right? And those all mean something, right? And you don't even have to remember what they mean, right? But here's the great thing about this. Number one, I can go in and I can tell whether things have been added, deleted, or modified within the new revision. So just going up here and just by hovering over any of this object, so I see all the stuff that's in red, if I just hover over that with my mouse, you see here it gives you this little pop-up and it says difference type. It's missing, meaning that was deleted in the revision. Okay, the 2 offices that are here in my current plan, those were deleted in the revision 2. Okay, all of the red stuff, these are all items that were in my plan that have been deleted. Okay, well, what about the yellow? Hopefully you guys can see the little yellow outline here. That's a little hard on my white background, right? But you notice if I hover on that, it's telling me that these lines have been modified. In other words, those lines are still here. See the kind of the gray outline, that's the one that's on my current drawing. The yellow background showing me they rotated this office. Okay, so I can see what's going on there. And then I can also come in and say, oh, I've got some bright green circles here. What's that? See the difference type there says those are new objects, things that are in green. Those are items that were added to revision 2 that aren't in my document yet. Okay, so now the great thing here is that, you know, that's great. It gives me a great identifier. I can see what's going on. But unlike other CAD systems, BricsCAD uses artificial intelligence. So number one, it can identify these differences for you. But number two, it can actually let you edit and decide what to do with these. Okay, so one of the things that I can do here, right, is I can just go in and say, okay, you see all this stuff in red? I'm just going to erase that. That's no longer in here. So if I want to update my current file, so maybe you're working with a master drawing, right, and you're just looking to bring in, you know, the changes that were done by the electrical guy or whatever the case, maybe in this case, the architect or the interior designer, right? I just need to, okay, they modified, they got rid of these 2 offices. I can just delete those right now. Office gone. Same thing over here, right? I can just go in and I can just erase all of these items. Gone. Okay, all right. Oh, this red chair, that was deleted. Gone. Okay, so that's nice. So I can clean out anything that I don't want. So, right, so I'm updating this drawing in place to match the new revision. I also have the ability, so now over here, you see I've got the yellow room where it was rotated. Right, well, same thing here. But this time, I'm going to leave the yellow, and I'm just going to erase the existing room. Okay, just kind of get rid of, you know, some of the items here that were in the existing room. All right, just kind of, sorry, I should do a window here. There we go. Trying to clean it up a little bit. Right, you'll get the idea. All right, so I'm just kind of, you know, cleaning out what was in that room. Okay, and there you go. You see, all right, there's a couple of things still in there, but oh, there's still that. Okay, so I can erase the computer too. There we go. Right, so I clean those out, and you see the yellow one is there, and the green circles are still there. So this is what's been changed, and this is what's new. Well, now that I had those and I've gotten rid of all the things that were removed, how do I get these to show up in my drawing? Well, that's easy. If you kind of look up here, right, on this little toolbar, you see this center button? I have 3 buttons here, really. The first one is I can rerun the drawing compare command. That'll kind of cancel my current compare and let me compare with another drawing. I'm not going to use that. Keep me. This is the important part of the artificial intelligence. I can go in now and I can select what objects, which of these colored items on my screen do I want to keep within this drawing. So just by clicking on Keep Me, it says, okay, select your entities, right? I need to bring in this one, right? And I'm just going to do a selection through that whole window. I want to keep all of those, right? Now watch when I hit enter. Now you notice they all changed color and they now became part of my background. They're no longer markups. They're now part of this active floor plan, okay? And then this last button that I have up here is the end comparison button. This gives us the ability to just go and say, okay, we're done with that. And I can just go ahead and close it out, right? Just like that, I was able to make all the changes. And you'll see all of the offices that got deleted, those are gone here and here, right? You can see the 2 new columns that were put in revision 2. They're here, right? The rotated room is here, right? And what's nice about that is that not only when it brought over those items from the revision 2 file and I told it to keep it in here, you'll notice that it also was cognizant of layer, line type, scale, and location, right? So that if you look here, you'll see that my columns here, right? Those are all on their layer. Same thing over here, all of my walls, doors, windows, everything that I brought in, they're all on the appropriate layers from that revision 2 file. Okay, so it's an easy way to be able to transfer any edits, changes, additions, anything from one file to another just by using this drawing compare. It doesn't necessarily have to be a revised file. You know, it could just be, hey, somebody, you know, very quickly went in and did a sketch in this room and they put something in there and you want to port it in. Not a problem. You can just bring that into your drawing. Okay, it's a fantastic way to work. It's very, very simple, easy to use. Right, and it's all about just native drawing intelligence. And again, it's just going in, one button, and just picking the drawing that you want to compare. Okay, right? That's it. It's that easy. It's that simple. I can bring in the pieces I want, get rid of the ones that I don't, or even if I'm just doing a visual verification of that, right? I can just go back and do the visual verification. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to close this and not save this. I'm going to reopen that floor plan again, okay? And I'll go in and do the drawing compare, just show you that you can just do it as like a visual comparison as well. So I'm just going to go to my drawing compare, okay? And I'm going to bring in my revision 2. And again, you see it highlights everything since I didn't save that. Now I can just go in and do a visual comparison. If all I'm trying to do is see what the changes are, I don't want to actually port them in here. I just want to see what areas have been worked on. You see, it's very, very easy for me to say, okay, I can see the red, the green, the yellow. Okay, I know what areas were modified from one file to another. That's all I wanted to know. I don't need to save this in this drawing, right? Maybe I'm going to go and I'm going to make that revision to the current version. That's fine, right? I can just come in here, do the visual verification, and then when I'm done, I can just click end the comparison, and I'm right back. So you see, chair still there, no circles. So you get the option of whether you want to update the current file or just do that visual comparison between the two. Really, really useful little tool. Very, very easy to use here inside of BricsCAD. All right. So with that said, right, that's what I wanted to show you today. Right. And again, you're just so you guys know with BricsCAD, right, it comes in a number of different flavors. You know, you got BricsCAD Classic, which replaces LT. Right. You can kind of see that each level of BricsCAD. Right. You got the Platinum, the Pro. You know, the BIM that replaces Revit. Mechanical, that's kind of the replacement for Inventor and SolidWorks, those types of tools. Right. And you can get BricsCAD Ultimate, which includes everything, every single one of these as one single software. And they all work in the same DWG file. And all of those tools and features, you can do 3D drawing comparisons, you can do high-end BIM comparisons, you can that tool and that artificial intelligence works in just about all of your drawing files, which is really, really nice. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to pause here, and I said I would look and see if we had some questions coming in, and it did. Okay, so I got a question from Brandy. Brandy wants to know, can you compare multiple files at once? No, Brandy, I'm actually sorry to say you can't do that yet. I'm sure eventually they'll get around to that, but for right now you can only do 2 files at a time. You're comparing file A and file B. You can't compare file A against B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, it's just not something that's really viable. That artificial intelligence component and being able to bring in and segregate the drawings by color gets a little too complex in order to do multiple. So just one at a time right now. And a question from Charles. Can I compare a partial and a full plan? Yes, actually you can. And actually I'm going to jump real fast here, Charles. Give me 1 second if you guys bear with me. I'm going to jump back here. I can actually do that. And if I compare, I actually have a comparison plan. Sorry, where am I here? So I'm going to go to my tools, drawing compare, all right? And you see that I can actually bring in, I have a partial floor plan, which is just kind of this lower section here. And you see that what it does, right? You'll see that everything that's not in that comparison drawing gets shown in red, right? As a missing, meaning that's missing from the new drawing, okay? Versus here, all the things that were drawn that are new in that area. So you can do a partial comparison plan, okay? Right? And like I said, you can just verify it, check it, or you can bring in the individual pieces you need within those areas, okay? And it looks like that's all the questions that I have. Okay. All right. So other than that, I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Hope you got a good idea of the intelligence that BricsCAD brings to the table for drafting and design, regardless of your industry. And if you do have any questions, just reach out to us. Our contact information is up here on the screen. You can always call us or email us. Other than that, thank you guys for taking the time today, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.